When the best athletes in the world gather together, something special happens. Their talent captivates us, and their passion motivates us. Here in the Gem State, we have witnessed our fair share of gold medal moments at the Winter Olympics. But who is next? Which Idahoan will shine the brightest on their sport's biggest stage? History shows that the moment awaits. The road to get there begins now.
You're watching an Idaho's News Channel 7 special presentation, The Road to South Korea.
Hello and welcome to The Road to South Korea. You know, every 4 years, there's a 16-day stretch in February where the Olympics bring us all together. Day in and day out, we huddle around our TVs to cheer on some of the best athletes in the world, waiting to witness that moment that we won't soon forget. Thanks to 7 particular athletes, the bond here in the great state of Idaho will be just a little stronger. Team Idaho, as we call it here at Channel 7, is as deep and talented as ever. It features 3 first-time Olympians in Victor native Breezy Johnson, Haley's own Chase Josie, and University of Idaho alumnus Sam Michener. Rigby's Jessica Jensen is headed back to her 2nd straight Olympic Games, while Sun Valley's Hillary Knight, Boise State alumnus Nick Cunningham, and former Sun Valley ski team member Simi Hamilton have each made their 3rd U.S. Olympic team. As you can see, talent hails from all over the state, but we start off in Haley, where we caught up with 22-year-old Chase Josie before he left for Pyeongchang. For Olympic snowboarder Chase Josie,
coming out of Haley, Idaho, born and raised here.
Haley is a place of peace and progress.
I just feel so lucky to be able to, ride on Baldy and Dollar and, call this my hometown.
These are the hills where passion and potential once collided for a young kid. And thanks to the community that surrounds them, he decided to go big.
I think it's just been, my upbringing from the very start, just the atmosphere I've been surrounded in, the mountains I've been able to ride for all of these years, the people I get to hang out with.
We're out here, Sun Valley, Idaho.
All factor of just good upbringing. Positivity and excitement for the sport is like the key ingredients for progression. Jumping to the elite stage, I think.
For Josie, that initial leap took flight at an event in Aspen, Colorado back in 2014.
I got first, and that was my first career elite level podium, taking the win, and I was just so ecstatic. It was like I was younger than most of the riders there and ended up taking the win, and it was like really an aha moment. Like, I love this, I can be successful at it. My stoke for snowboarding just shot through the roof.
When curiosity quickly turned into confidence. At just 18 years old, Josie was immediately labeled by those around him as an up-and-comer for Team USA.
4 years ago, I went through the Olympic qualifying events. I was in the hunt for it for sure, but just wasn't quite ready for it. And I think it kind of inspired me to, look ahead and in the future 4 years and say, I have this amount of time and, I probably have a good shot at making the next Olympics. So, let's try to work for it.
Fast forward those 4 years, and Josie has successfully elevated his status, bordering on the title of best in the world.
It's pretty crazy to, be hearing that, from other people and having people so excited about, where I am in snowboarding. And I've been putting a ton of time into it.
Last month at the final Olympic qualifying event, Josie displayed what his passion and potential are capable of with a successful run at the rings.
This has been my most recent podium about a week and a half ago in Mammoth. This is what helped me seal the deal to Korea, winning the last Olympic qualifier, Mammoth Grand Prix.
With his ticket to Pyeongchang officially in hand.
So are you a dog person or a cat person?
Dog person. We got my 2 pups right here, Boomer and Izzy, hanging out with us. So they're awesome.
Josie returned home for a few days to decompress. Awaiting him in South Korea, though, is a stage for the world to witness. It's yet another opportunity for this small-town snowboarder to prove that his career is more than just a pipe dream.
Yeah, it's kind of beyond my wildest dreams of where it's taking me, and now we're going to the Olympics. That's insane. It's crazy.
One of the coolest things about making the Olympics is that Chase will be on the same team as legendary snowboarder Shaun White. This will be White's 4th appearance at the Olympics. When he won gold back in Torino in 2006, Chase was just 10 years old. Over a decade later, Chase will try to compete for a spot on the podium against a guy he's looked up to for most of his competitive career.
My parents have had a place there for many years. I come from a ski family, and as soon as I stepped foot off the airplane, I took a breath in of the air and saw the mountains, and I just fell in love with the place. And it feels like home. It's just magical to me.
U.S. women's hockey player Hilary Knight spends most of her time these days traveling all over the world playing a sport she loves and one she also hopes to advance. Amidst her chaotic schedule, there is only one place that she finds the peace she so often seeks. It's in her hometown of Sun Valley. As Hilary gets set to make her 3rd trip to the Olympics, she's as motivated as ever to finish the job and provide friends, family, and fans with that gold medal moment. It's the moment the U.S. women's hockey team had worked so hard for.
I think it just comes with growing up in the United States. I mean, if you're not number one, nobody cares.
With 3 minutes and 26 seconds left in the 2014 gold medal game in Sochi, the red, white, and blue held a 3-2 advantage over Team Canada.
It's the looming medal that we've never got as a group.
On the verge of arguably the greatest moment in U.S. women's hockey history, Team USA watched their lead slip away. Instead of accepting the thrill that should accompany a silver medal, Sun Valley's Hilary Knight was overwhelmed by the feeling of failure. It led to an emotional letter that she penned to her mom.
To have their support, day in, day out, and to come up with such a heart-wrenching loss was so hard. And it was sort of explaining that journey and thanking her, but also apologizing for not, bringing home the gold.
4 years later, those are the memories that have pushed Knight, and the 28-year-old has only strengthened her status as one of the greatest female hockey players in the world.
Team USA is
toughened by time, it's her tone and her pain that has rallied Team USA.
These experiences that we've lived through together and we've grown through together that just make us that much more close and tight-knit that any team building or other exercises wouldn't be able to replicate.
Clearly, the U.S. women's hockey team is on a mission in Pyeongchang.
A part of it is, it's been 20 years since we won a gold medal, and it's sort of gold or bust.
And for Knight, her goal goes beyond gold. She believes this is her chance to secure the payoff for those that have supported her in the past and inspire those that want to be like her in the future.
And then to have a 3rd opportunity to do it, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm still here. Is this real? So it's really cool. And not only my career has unfolded, but I think the terrain of women's ice hockey has changed, and I hope that it only continues to grow, and that's part of bringing home a gold medal is it's going to grow if we can captivate, the narrative.
Coming up next, a former Bronco and a former Vandal have teamed up to create one of the fastest bobsleds in the world. But first, speaking of Canada, we head back north of the border to recap some of the perks that come with being an Olympian, according to Nick Cunningham.
The coolest thing I've ever been able to do is the get on stage with Garth Brooks during Friends in Low Places and shoot off a confetti cannon.
When did this happen?
2 weeks ago. Greatest moment of my life.
Where?
In Canada.
So is this you right here?
I'm about to high five him.
Oh,
Just
nice.
losing it. Losing my mind. Greatest moment of my life. I can win a gold medal today. I don't think I'll have the same smile as I have in the photo.
You look pretty happy right there, I'm not gonna lie.
Greatest moment.
Your pet leaves fur wherever he goes, and it's impossible to clean when it gets on your clothes. Not anymore! Introducing the Hurricane Fur Wizard, an all-new extra-large lint brush that picks up fur and lint with ease, then cleans up instantly with a self-cleaning base. Fur Wizard is faster because of the double-sided action. It cleans up twice as much in half the time of other lint brushes. Plus, with just one dip, both sides are cleaned up quick, and just remove the base clip to empty. Look, a tape roller needs so many sheets, while just a few swipes of Fur Wizard easily cleans the entire surface. No refills are ever needed. Use it over and over again. Get your Hurricane Fur Wizard for just $19.99. But wait, call now and you'll also get the Fur Wizard Mini absolutely free. Perfect for quick on-the-go cleanups. It has a self-cleaning base too. But wait, call now and you can get a second complete Fur Wizard set. Just pay separate fee. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-496-9141 to get your Fur Wizard. Call or visit by furwizard.com. So call 1-800-496-9141. Order now.
This week at Bi-Mart, you'll find sweet deals for your sweetheart. Save 20% off Valentine Hearts box candy. And save 20% off Casio, Timex, Armatron, and Seiko watches. Plus save 20% off Montana Silversmith's sterling silver jewelry. And while you're here, pick up some Folgers Classic Roast Coffee for $6.99. Find these savings and more at Bi-Mart.com and on the Flip app. Get ready for your season for less at Bi-Mart.
I did not wear these until I got to Idaho. Yep, this is what Idaho did. I wore Abercrombie and Reeboks before I got to Idaho. Nope.
Cowboy boots.
Cowboy boots.
Jeans.
Now I won't go anywhere without them. Idaho has changed my whole perspective. I'm on the rodeo committee back home.
Have you been on a bull?
Oh yeah. It went. It went.
What's more intense, getting in a bobsled or riding a bull?
The bobsled doesn't want to kill you. Like, the bobsled doesn't want to kill you when you get off.
If you can't already tell, U.S. bobsledder Nick Cunningham is a bit of a character who has fallen in love with the state of Idaho. This year in Pyeongchang, Cunningham will provide Idahoans with an opportunity to fall in love with him. Cunningham captains one of the best bobsled teams in the world. It consists of one Bronco, one Vandal, and maybe most important of all, one goal. We were so intrigued by this unlikely combo that photojournalist Shanti Asale and myself made the trip out to Lake Placid, New York to find out more about their story. The last 4 years will virtually go unnoticed by most.
A lot of people think that we just kind of will build an Olympic team, go to the Olympics, and then we're off for 4 years. I'm gonna hit where I'm loading.
But for three-time U.S. Olympic bobsledder Nick Cunningham,
I've probably invested thousands of hours just to kind of refine the craft.
There you go.
He knows it's the work done in the dark that will help him glide, drive, and thrive when the lights finally shine on his sport this February.
That's good.
We're working probably 40, 50, 60 hours a week sometimes, looking for every hundredth of a second.
At 32 years old, the former Boise State sprinter is quick to acknowledge that he only has so many more trips left down the track. In the meantime, he continues to pursue his Olympic dream, one that now seems as real as ever.
Last Olympics, I went just to qualify. You know, how do I build a team to qualify for the Olympics? This year, I'm building a team on how do I get to the Olympics and medal there.
While the process isn't any less complicated than before, Cunningham has accumulated the knowledge that helps guide an athlete with his experience.
Really being a student of the entire sport is how you'll actually pick up time.
On that note, prior to these Olympics, Cunningham decided to turn to an old rival for help.
I knew his name from running track and knew he was fast.
It was almost a decade ago that Cunningham and former University of Idaho sprinter Sam Michener met on a very different type of track.
I remember watching him run in the 200, 400 in the indoor track in Napa, Idaho. And we hadn't really talked, but we were aware of each other.
Ready?
Now the two live and train together on the opposite side of the country.
Huge shot in the dark, right? I mean, what are the odds? I mean, two guys from two Idaho schools end up in Lake Placid trying to go to South Korea.
While Cunningham is known as one of the best bobsled drivers in America, the 30-year-old Michener has quickly earned a similar reputation thanks to his unique ability as a brakeman.
I knew it was gonna be a good fit, perfect size for a brakeman.
Every track in the world, I could close my eyes and just go down. You memorize it like a dance, you know, like I know turn 1, 2, 3, 4, like all the way till the end on every track in the world. Nick picked me as his brakeman because he knows that I'm not going to make that mistake.
So far, the unlikely combination has reaped the results of thinking outside the box.
And to be able to have both of us kind of have that commonality, it was a lot of fun to be able to kind of have that coming into a team. It definitely brings the team closer together right off the bat.
The experience, size, speed, and strength is about perfect for 4-man.
Now they're ready to prove that some things are bigger than rivalries, like winning a medal for Team USA.
I have the crew behind me to get me in that medal spot and to be the best team in the U.S. and the world.
We've built a pretty good relationship. We've roomed together on tour. We've become good friends, and you know, this will be his 3rd Olympics. This will be my 1st. So I would love to kind of celebrate together on the podium.
You know, we're here and we're we're coming to play and take some medals.
Coming up next, not many Olympians get to travel, train, and compete with their significant other. We'll tell you why Simi Hamilton is an exception to the standard. Plus, a young and talented downhill skier will chase the success of another Idahoan in Pyeongchang. That and more when the road to South Korea continues.
When you excel here, you have the obligation to excel here. Progress is performance when it counts. Experience the Audi Q3. Get an exceptional offer at your local Audi dealer.
The Coeur d'Alene Tribe invites you to experience their legacy, a culture rich in history, tradition, and values. Their ongoing commitment to the community has provided healthcare, jobs, and over $33 million towards education, all while they continue to share their values, stories, and hospitality. From scenic mountain ranges to the crystal lakes and rivers of their ancient land, the Coeur d'Alene Tribe welcomes you home. Brought to you by the Coeur d'Alene Tribe and Casino.
Here's what's going to happen. You get to help your little girl, and you get to take care of this custody thing, and I get to save my family. We do it once.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a robbery.
Like some smooth criminal.
We can all have a little talk about the money you stole from us.
It's gonna be okay. We're gonna have a drink. We're gonna have 10 drinks.
I can't complain that much because my girlfriend is actually on the team as well. And one of the coolest things about cross-country skiing is that the men and the women travel together. All of our races are at the same places every weekend. So I get to, basically spend the entire year with her, which makes all the difference in the world for, I think, both of us. Definitely me, and I hope her too.
You can't help but love Simi Hamilton's story. The former member of the Sun Valley Ski Education Foundation will make his third trip to the Olympic Games this year, but this time he will have that special someone right by his side. Both Simi and his girlfriend, Sophie Caldwell, are cross-country skiers, and each of them have a serious shot at the podium in Pyeongchang. Simi is making his third trip to the Olympics. Back in 2014, he helped lead the Americans to a fifth-place finish in the team sprint. Sophie, on the other hand, has already made history. 4 years ago in Sochi, she came in 6th place in the individual sprint, which is the highest an American woman has ever placed in that event. Both could be nearing the end of their highly successful careers. While Simi says that he won't speak for Sophie, leading up to the games, he did tell us that his competitive career on skis is likely coming to a close. At 30 years old, he refers to skiing as, quote, the single greatest thing I have ever been able to learn, adding, quote, it makes me who I am. On that note, Simi is hopeful that he can start a family before long and one day pass his knowledge on to his kids.
I'm extra motivated going into these games knowing that they're my last, and obviously my big goal is to win a medal. I think I have 2 really good race opportunities to be able to do that, the individual sprint and the team sprint. Just knowing that and having the confidence and knowing that I can be on that podium.
Back to the Gem State, Rigby's own Jessica Jensen is making her second straight trip to the Olympics. The 26-year-old finished in 13th place in the women's slope style event in Sochi and missed out on competing in the finals by 1 single spot. This year, Jessica will take part in 2 events, slope style and big air. Finally, we get to the other rookie on Team Idaho. Just like Chase Josie, Victor native Breezy Johnson will be making her first trip to the Winter Olympics. Breezy, who might have the most fitting name of anybody at the Olympics, is currently the 5th best women's downhill skier on Team USA. Considering only 4 Americans get to compete in the event, we will be following Breezy's journey closely. At 22 years old, she is the youngest athlete on the U.S. Alpine ski team and the youngest on Team Idaho as well. Now, Breezy will have a chance to follow in the footsteps and become the first Idahoan to compete in the women's downhill event at the Olympics since the great Peekaboo Street. Both were born in Idaho, and just to show you how bright Breezy's future is, she made her first Olympic team at 22 years old. Peekaboo was 23 when she made her debut. Peekaboo is one of the more decorated Idaho Olympians in our state's history. She won silver in Lillehammer in 1994 and gold in Nagano in 1998. Speaking of gold medalist, Caitlin Farrington won't get a shot to defend her title in the halfpipe. However, you will still see plenty of her live from Pyeongchang. Coming up, I'll tell you about Caitlin's new role for the Games.
So, how many of us feel completely confident about our financial future? Let's hear some specifics. Yes, go ahead.
I don't want to be a burden to my kids. When my husband died, it took almost all of our savings to give him a proper funeral. I honestly don't know if there's enough to bury me, let alone cover expenses should something happen.
Okay. Let's talk solutions. One thing you may want to get in place is a guaranteed whole life insurance policy from United of Omaha Life Insurance Company, which is a Mutual of Omaha company. This is affordable coverage, which provides a cash payment which can cover funeral expenses, bills, and other financial needs. Most payments are on their way within 24 hours. Yes, sir.
I need medical exams, things like that.
No medical exams. If you're between the ages of 45 and 85, you can call this number or you can go online and apply for coverage up to $25,000. United of Omaha Guaranteed Whole Life Insurance. Call or go online now.
Are you ready for this?
Uh-huh.
Get your winning numbers from your favorite Idaho Lottery draw games only on Idaho's very own 24/7. Starting with Mega Millions every Tuesday and Friday at 9 p.m. and Powerball every Wednesday and Saturday at 8:59 p.m. The Idaho Lottery live drawings only on Idaho's very own 24/7.
I was just happy when I realized that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm on the podium. Like, I get an Olympic medal. And then to land on top is just unbelievable.
Back in 2014, Haley native Caitlin Farrington quickly became one of the more captivating athletes to follow in Sochi. On the fourth day of the Olympics, the 24-year-old hit the halfpipe. On her final run, Caitlin managed to outperform 3 other former gold medalists and claim the top spot on the podium. Not long after, Caitlin returned home to Sun Valley, where she was overwhelmed once again with the amount of support she received. Hundreds of fans, along with family and friends, welcomed her back in style to the Gem State.
Yeah, I mean, today once I got off the plane and had to say a couple of words, I broke down, and it was the first time I'd cried through the Olympics, and it was just something that all hit me, just be happy to be home and happy to thank everyone here in Sun Valley that supported me through my journey.
Now, unfortunately, a spinal condition forced Caitlin into early retirement. However, you will still see her in Pyeongchang. Caitlin will serve as a commentator for NBC this February. Speaking of historic runs, it's hard to believe it's been almost 8 years since Boise native Jarrett "Speedy" Peterson provided Idahoans with one of the more memorable moments we've ever witnessed at the Winter Olympics. After coming up short of the podium in his first 2 trips to the Games, Speedy invented a jump he tabbed the Hurricane. At the 2010 Vancouver Olympics, Speedy executed it to near perfection and claimed a silver medal because of it. KTVB was at the bottom of the hill to witness that breathtaking moment. Approximately 16 months after landing the Hurricane in Vancouver, Jarrett "Speedy" Peterson continued to struggle with depression, a battle that athletes can often experience on their way down from the highs that accompany climbing to the top of an Olympic podium. On July 25, 2011, Jarrett "Speedy" Peterson took his own life. The energy and passion that he constantly displayed on the hill is still being felt today, though. And this year, for the first time since Speedy won silver in Vancouver, you will see an athlete attempt the Hurricane at the Games. Connecticut native Mac Bohannon refers to Speedy as his mentor. Mac also believes that the Hurricane, although difficult, suits his style perfectly. So with that in mind, this February in Pyeongchang, the 22-year-old Bohannon plans to honor a legend he once looked up to by attempting a jump that few would dare try.
In simple terms, the Hurricane is a quintuple twisting triple backflip. So 5 full twists within 3 flips. What makes the Hurricane so crazy, quite honestly, is that you do 1 twist in the first flip and then 3 full twists in the second flip. If you don't have the perfect speed, the perfect takeoff, and perfect flip rotation, it's going to be pretty hard for you to get all 3 of those twists done in that second flip.
Shortly after Speedy's death, the Speedy Foundation was started. Its mission is to prevent suicide and support mental health education. Now that you know the 7 members of Team Idaho, coming up next, we'll tell you when and where you can watch them in action.
Oh, beautiful.
spacious skies. I have to do what's best for my daughter.
I hate to see you go, Mr. Kim. I really appreciate everything.
For purple mountain majesty. The fruited plain. But now wait a minute. I'm talking about America, sweet America. You know, God done shed His grace on thee.
Join the Idaho Youth Ranch Parenting Gurus for a free 5-week workshop all about what it takes to raise great kids today. You can expect tips and advice from parenting experts, as well as open discussions about raising kids and teens in a casual, judgment-free environment. The series starts February 8th, so visit the Idaho events calendar for details on how to register for this helpful workshop on successful parenting.
To post your local event, visit the Idaho events calendar on ktvp.com.
Black Panther is already breaking records, and Ellen's got its ripped villain.
Don't you want to just play a character you lay on the sofa and do nothing at all?
Michael B. Jordan. Plus, Ellen's producer Andy joins the circus. Oh, that's your... I thought that was your back. I'm sorry. And they love Ellen.
She means the world to me. That's so sweet of you.
So Ellen's giving back.
Weekdays at 2 on Idaho's News Channel 7.
We are just getting started in our Olympic coverage here on KTVB.
Here we go.
Still to come this month, Idaho Life will continue to take a look at some of the unique events at the games. Also, we heard Hillary Knight's desire to impact local youth hockey. We'll show you how she already has. Welcome back to the road to Sochi. You know, from the start to finish, Team Idaho figures to entertain at the 2018 Winter Games in Pyeongchang. Rigby's Jessica Jensen will be the first Idahoan to compete. The qualifying round of the women's slopestyle event starts on Saturday, February 10th, with the finals to follow on the 11th. Jensen will be then back in action in the women's big air event on February 22nd. Hillary Knight and the U.S. women's hockey team will begin play on February 11th. They will be back in action on both the 13th and the 14th. If they get back to the gold medal game for the third straight Olympics, you can watch that on the 21st. Up next is Chase Josie, who will jump into the halfpipe on February 12th. The finals will then follow on the 13th. On that same day, Simi Hamilton will race in the men's individual cross-country sprint. Exactly 8 days later, Simi will be back on the course in the U.S. team sprint. Brizzy Johnson will hopefully make her Olympic debut in the Super G on the 16th. If not, she will then aim to compete in the downhill event on the 20th. Finally, we get to the bobsledders. Nick Cunningham will race in the two-man bobsled event that kicks off on Sunday, February 18th and continues on the 19th. Then later that week, Sam Mitchner will jump in Cunningham's four-man bobsled and race once again. As you can see, Team Idaho nearly fills the entire calendar this February, and there is only one place to watch them in action, and that's right here on Idaho's News Channel 7. Now that we have you set and ready to go for the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, I only have one request, that you enjoy them, because I know I will. Thanks for watching, and as the saying goes, let the games begin.